So here we have a really lovely core exercise for you with lots and lots of different progressions. So if you have to hand, it would be great to have a little band like this and a foam roller or something very similar to a foam roller. That would be great. So we're going to have a look at a leg drop. Now this is one of my favourite core exercises because it can be progressed and it can be regressed really beautifully. So it does kind of suit quite a lot of people. So we're going to start lying down on our back. And we're going to start with both legs lifted into the air, around about a 90-degree angle here. You may find that if we go to a full 90-degree angle, it's a little too much, so bring the feet or the knees a little closer to you. Personally, I like to have my hands on my belly. This really helps me just feel what's going on. It helps me feel if I'm pushing my belly upwards, which we want to try and avoid. It helps me feel if my ribs are rocking back and forth. Again, something that we want to avoid. So from here we're going to take a little toe drop down towards the floor and then pull backwards. And then another toe drop towards the floor and then pull back. And what we want to try and think of doing is keeping the rib cage nice and still. So if I do a few kind of good ones for you, and then if I do some bad ones, you see how when I do the bad ones, my whole body moves and my rib cage rocks off the floor like this and I end up with a hole under my back. Now, I'm not saying we force the spine to the floor, because some of you might have quite a strong lordotic curve in your lower back, so forcing it back to the floor isn't really very productive. But I want you to keep the pelvis and the rib cage still. So this is why popping your hands on your belly is quite handy. If we can tie in some breath and pelvic floor work, that would be great. So it goes breath in, as you breathe out, that's when we inhale, and exhale. Now the progression for this would be to add something like a band around our feet. So we come to this position here. You're going to need to flex your feet this time around. And this time we flex away and pull back and flex. So you see the change now. Instead of me tapping down towards the floor, I'm extending the leg a little further away. Same rules apply though. We're going to keep the belly engaged. We're going to keep the rib cage nice and still. Keep the pelvis nice and still so we don't have any rocking around with the pelvis. And we can make this again as easy or as hard as we like. The further the further the knees are away from you, the harder this exercise. So if I take my knees here, it feels very, very different than if they're here. Okay. Then we can add another progression, and this is when we grab our foam roller. So what we're going to do is create some counter pressure, so opposite but equal pressure. So I'm going to push my hands onto the roller, so rather than hold it on the ends, I'm going to push it towards my thighs. So I've got tension pushing this way, and then my knees are pulling back this way. So I find a happy medium where I've got a good connection in my belly. And then from here, keeping that tension on, you can hear in my voice, I have to concentrate a bit more now, I can create a really challenging exercise. One, it creates a bit of stability, because obviously I'm having to push now just with my left hand, but keep my right hand still, and vice versa. So this is a really great exercise, as long as we use it wisely, and we use it effectively, and appropriately for what we need out of it. And rest in there. So there's no set, kind of you must do 10, you must do 12, there's no set times for this. It's going to be what feels suitable for your body. You might find that you can do 5 with your band and with the roller, but you can do 20 of the easier versions. So have a play around with the intensity of it and have a play around with the repetitions. We want to try and get to the stage where we've got some fatigue in our tummy muscles, in our core muscles, but not to the point where our technique has gone out the window completely. So, like always, if there's any questions, please get in touch. But I hope you enjoy your band and your roller exercise.